Welcome to the Florence Foodies Podcast, a place for the community to gather and share the stories, voices, and experiences that make Florence feel like home. To support this podcast and the Florence Foodies platform as a whole, click the Support This Podcast link found in the description.
So Notchade is a relatively new restaurant in town, and I don't know how many people know that. There's so much expansion happening on the south side, and I've talked about it a good bit and just in many conversations. But Notchade is over there, and so we've got managing partner and GM Nicole DuBose, Cooper Thomas, and I guess the first thing I like to do here on this platform, with it being community centric, I just always think it's good to kind of orient whoever the guest is. What's your relationship to Florence County? So when did you get here? How did you get here? Which is a really funny question if you were born here. That kind of gets kind of goes in a different place. But anyways, what's your relationship to Florence County? Anybody first?
You go ahead.
Okay. My relationship is back in 2008. My husband got offered a job here and we moved here. I'm originally from Pittsburgh. I moved to Myrtle Beach in 2004, met my now husband, been together ever since. He's from the upstate. His brothers had a trucking business here, ARD Trucking, and they needed some help with that at the time. And he said, "Do you want to move?" And I said, "Sure, let's go." We really didn't, so we moved down here in 2008, and now it's home.
So y'all Steelers fans in your household?
Yes.
Okay. Some people don't watch football. I don't know what kind of people don't watch.
I don't know what kind of people don't watch football, but I also don't know a single person that you would ask from Pittsburgh that would say anywhere where anyone could hear or see that they weren't a Steelers fan.
I get that. I'm
Like
an
you-
Eagles fan. You don't hear a lot of people.
Oh boy. Okay. You don't hear a lot of that.
No, but Pittsburgh made the playoffs though, so that was good.
I mean, you know,
People know I could go off on a rant on this. I'm not going to. I don't think the Eagles will win the Super Bowl this year because our offensive coordinator is seemingly incompetent, is what we've seen over the last few months. So I don't think we're going to win it. And I said if the Eagles don't, of course, then I would like to see the Steelers win the Super Bowl.
you gotta
Believe it
stay
or not.
within your state.
Well,
Normally
I'm
you
not
do.
from PA, so I don't have any affiliation
Oh,
with the Steelers.
okay.
It's just really I like Mike Tomlin, and I'd actually like to see Aaron Rodgers get one more because he's probably on his way out the door.
Same. Yeah.
I could live with that. Although I lived in Cincinnati for a while, so I'm supposed to hate them. But I'm
Supposed to,
but
but-
I was only a transplant.
Then you became friends with me, and you were like, "I don't have a choice now."
Yeah, sure, we could say that. you know. So what you were saying is you were forced to move here, but you were not forced to love it.
Right, but I do love it.
Yeah, I know.
I do love it. I lived in Greenwood before this, and nothing against Greenwood or the upstate, but it was boring. It was not as built up as it was now. So when I first moved here, we lived at the beach. And so living at the beach from Pennsylvania, I was like on vacation 24/7. This is awesome. So moving to the upstate from the beach, I was like, this is not what I signed up for. And then when we moved here, I'm like, oh, I'm an hour from the beach. I'm an hour from Columbia. I'm 2 hours from Charlotte. It's just a great little hub. And even though I've always said this to people, even though it's supposedly like a bigger city, like, I mean, 50,000 people's not small, but it feels like a hometown. It feels like a
Yeah.
small hometown feel to it. And I love that about it too.
All of those things you said are like my sales pitch for Florence. When people are
Yeah.
looking at different areas, the proximity to the other places you mentioned, we're right in the middle of this radius of cities.
Yeah, it's great.
And then we do have kind of both elements currently. I don't know how long that'll last, but right now you have a city feel, but then you still have that small town feel at the same time. It's pretty awesome. We got something special. So
I agree. I would miss a lot. I do miss some of the more well-known chain brand like a Whole Foods or some of that kind of stuff. But it's completely worth it. Just I would rather live here, and if I need to travel to Columbia or somewhere like that to go to somewhere like that, so be it.
but we are about to get the Publix. So that's official.
Yeah, my wife is extremely excited.
I am too. Just such an odd place to put it, though, in my mind.
Wow, I love it because where we're at.
So
but
close.
yeah.
I'm
so
a little
close.
conflicted though because we shop at Harris Teeter and you become like, I mean, those people become like
I know.
family members basically because you're in there all the time. So I don't know what's going to happen. Once they open it, I guess we're about a year out probably. Then I'll go poke around and see.
I do. I mean, I do like Harris Teeter as well.
I do too.
And I really appreciate the fact that they do so much for special needs people and in hiring them and employing them and helping them and get out into the workplace. So
Yeah, and they're trying to get ahead of it too. I mean, they're renovating the store. I was in there last night coming back from my
yeah,
son's basketball game, getting sodas for the studio,
yeah.
and they were working on it. So I mean, there's going to be a Starbucks in there, and
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole bigger bakery. Just they're doing all kinds of
So
stuff.
my
Where
husband,
that Tuesday morning shop was.
okay. My husband will tear up a Harris Teeter sub. Like he
Yeah,
thinks that is like the best. But my daughter, who's at Clemson, is like pub sub all the way. And she's like, "What am I going to do when I go home? I'm going to have to make
this
a
is what I'm
choice."
saying. It's
Like,
new
yeah,
competition.
I
It's
mean, it's gonna
conflicting.
be, yeah.
yeah. But you're right. I never thought about that. I knew they were renovating, but it probably is in kind of a reaction to knowing that Publix is
Yeah, you
coming.
got to. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I mean
They're
they're
gonna have
owned
to.
by Kroger
Yeah,
Corporation, so I mean
Yeah, I
in
agree.
other areas of the country, Kroger is huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I grew up I spent 5 years of my childhood in Columbia, and we had a Kroger. That was where we shopped. There was a Chick-fil-A in there, so it was pretty sweet.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
neat.
and then they're big in Cincinnati, Kentucky area, Ohio, and
Not
I think
Pennsylvania.
their corporate office might be there. But um, I mean the Kroger, I mean the Kroger, they had a dry aging room for the beef. They had a whole giant salad bar section that was set up every day for lunch with a with seating
Yeah.
and a coffee bar and all kinds of stuff.
I
So
did not know that. The first Kroger I ever went to was at the beach. I
at the
didn't even know
beach.
there were any up
Yeah, and
north.
they don't really. Now, that might have changed. I haven't been to the one at the beach in a long time, but up the closer I guess you got to corporate,
Okay. The bigger,
the
better.
bigger there were. But
Good.
it was
Yeah,
they had some amazing products in there, especially from the beef standpoint. And I was working at a steakhouse at the time, so that
Oh,
was really
I want to talk a little bit about some beef here in a little bit too, but
yeah.
it's good though. I mean, our grocery store game is elevating. So, and no offense to Food Line, because I shop at Food Line for some things too, definitely. But it's nice to have some variety. So, what about you, Cooper? What's your history here in the good old county of Florence?
Yeah. Well, I twofold actually. I spent summers here for a long time when I was a teenager because my dad lived here. He lived here and in Darlington, kind of half and half the whole time he was here. So I was very familiar with Darlington and Florence area from that aspect. And then I happened to marry a girl that was from Florence. So we swore we would never move here and never live here. And then
I've heard that a time or two.
yeah,
right.
and then then priorities change, and you have
Yeah,
kids, and
Yeah.
you're married, you've got kids. You're just looking for a nice place to live that has enough things for the kids to do, and you're close to family, and that's kind of what
Family.
brought us here.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And so, how long ago was that?
not quite 12 years ago. Yeah.
All right. So then, I guess the next thing that I was thinking is kind of in that same vein of, I guess, history, but both of you obviously are in the restaurant industry, and that's not something that you go head first into without some thought, especially if you know the restaurant industry. It can have its challenges. So, and then I definitely know on your side, even the culinary aspect to it. Um, and I know for me, with the stuff that I'm doing, with stuff like this that we've done with food, but then also even in my own kitchen, obviously there's influences. I've got a variety. I can name a handful of people and programs that influence my life in relation to food, I guess I'm saying. So I'm asking you that. What are some of your influences? Kind of, what's that story that leads you to a career in food?
Well, that's you, Cooper.
uh, so for me, it was just kind of fell into it, needing a job, not really knowing at that point what I wanted to do. Right, I didn't know enough to know that I was going to love it. So, a friend of mine, knew a guy that owned a place called Reuben's Deli down in Charleston at the time. It's closed since, but and he needed a breakfast cook, and so I worked over there with and grilled sandwiches, and had no idea what I was doing, but I, you know, I was willing to be there at 5 in the morning. So I guess that was worth a while enough for him to hire me. And I learned a little bit there and I was like, all right, well, this is good. This is not bad. So then I worked at a couple of places in Charleston just while I was in college. And then that's what I think I wanted to do. I loved it. And so I applied to culinary school at Johnson & Wales when it was still in Charleston. And I went there and happened to luckily, I was walking through Charleston Place Hotel at the time, and the girl that I knew from the College of Charleston was a host at Charleston Grill. And I just said, hey, I'm dropping off applications around town, and give me a call back. Just so happened, I didn't even know if they were hiring. Had no clue. And then so I literally, I was cutting through the mall area underneath to go to the other side, and I had just dropped off a resume and an application at the Euro place across the street. I mean, if they had called first, this probably wouldn't be sitting here. You know what I mean? I got a call from a 4-star, 4-diamond restaurant to hire me, but it could have been the Euro place.
I could have been standing in the mall right now.
So, but anyway, and they knew I didn't know much, but sometimes that's good. Sometimes when you hire people, if they have a great attitude and they're willing to learn, that's where you get a lot of people that,
True.
that you really become indispensable to you. And that's what I tried to do.
So what would you say is the biggest leap from residential cooking, like domestic cooking in your own home, to trying to cook in a commercial kitchen?
Oh, you're gonna tackle this one? 'Cause
Tap in.
she's
Learning the equipment
Yeah.
for me. Learning the equipment, and I would also say learning how to cook for large amounts of people, like how to scale up the recipes and just knowing how to even calculate how to cook and how to make the recipes. Not that I do a lot of it at all, but I am trying.
it is. I think for me, if I have to look back, especially if you're just coming in, if somebody's just almost always cooks residential, I think the big thing is we do so much ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much preparation that gets done in days in advance. Sometimes, it might be I'm seasoning this chicken that's going to be baked, tomorrow or the next morning, and because a lot of people they just used to, I'm cooking one meal for this meal period, and that's
Yeah.
and so they're thinking they got to do it exactly the recipe, because a lot of those recipes are written that way. And it's like, well, I mean, you can grill your beef, you can grill a piece of beef off on the grill outside, right? Put it in the refrigerator, just mark it off, put it in the refrigerator, and then when you come home that night, you pop it in the oven. So there's just all kinds of things that we just do naturally, because we have to be ready, because you can't start everything as soon as somebody orders something. You have to have all that additional prep work done, because you want to be able to provide it. You want it to be good, you want it to be fresh, and you want it to be fast. And as much as you can do ahead of time to make that happen without jeopardizing the quality, you do that. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because I think that's something that probably a lot of people might not think about, but I always relate things. It just helps me out, and I don't know. Hopefully it's helpful to other people too. But I think about like sports. So last night my son had a rec basketball game. So you've got rec league, maybe high school, something like that, these lower levels, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. And you've got people that are really good and people that are not as good. But one thing's for certain: no matter how good they are, when you get to the professional level, there's a whole it's not just what makes Aaron Rodgers so great. It's not just showing up on Sunday and playing. It's the hours of film study that these guys do every week. People don't realize that part. So same thing, you're cooking for a lot of people. You got ticket times, and then the things I think about with a kitchen is a plate comes back and the whole rhythm's now thrown off because you got to interject that one and get it back out. And so we've had this stigma that people in Florence only want chains and fast food. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I, for whatever reason, just started to take offense to that. I started to get agitated because really I'm watching all of this content because now, I mean, we have exposure to food all over the world. And I mean, I think I was pretty diverse in my palate, anyways, at that time. But there was a lot of stuff I had never seen because I've just never seen it. And you start to see all of this food. You got all these content creators doing food content, and you're like, man, that looks really good. And I've got Burger King, McDonald's, and Chili's. Like it's just like I want more than that. And I mean, granted, we've had some restaurants even at that time period, but you get what I'm saying. We did have this stigma, and I think we're shedding that. I definitely think that we're shedding that off. I think that's being proven at this point. But I guess the angle of the question, it probably was more so for you, Cooper, I guess. But either one of you that have a thought on it, what have you seen? And the reason that I'm asking is because particularly with Victor's in this case. We're going to veer off Notch 8 for just a second, then come back to that. But Victor's has been around for a while, and that's not Chili's. It's not Burger King by any means. And there's diversity. It's a restaurant with a changing, revolving, or evolving menu, and it brings a different element. Obviously, there's been a degree of success. So, I mean, when it comes to that stigma, what do you think about? What have you seen?
I think there is still a lot a good reason for that stigma to be alive here. I think that the chain restaurants, if you go over, and I think a lot of that has to do with um, most of the traffic was driven out to the mall years ago, and that's where, and 95 is highly traveled, and that's where those places wanted to be. And because that's where they make their money. But if you go over there, there aren't any mom and pop places over there. And I think for the main reason being is the real estate and the rent and everything else over there is astronomical. But people got used to that for a long, long time. And there weren't enough restaurants here. There are a lot more now than there were, and they're coming. I think more will come. I think we're running into a problem now that you will see a lot. It's gotten a lot more expensive to run a restaurant. Um, you know, 20 years ago, you could probably squeeze out 10 to 20% profit, and now you're lucky if you can get 3 to 5. You know, I think it all depending on what you want it to be, and if you want to be an employer that actually, you know, cares if your employees make a good living, make a livable living. um, so I think that has slowed down things, and inflation has gotten really difficult, and the hikes and salaries and wages has been pretty dramatic over the last 5 years. All this stems from when COVID hit, and, which some of it is good. We needed some of that. People needed to be making more money. That was what in Florence we were behind the times when it came to hourly wages, especially. Um, but I think people are slowly starting to realize that there is other food out there. I see a much more diverse clientele than I ever saw at Victor's.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
since the reopening after COVID and the last couple of years, it it's great.
I got a thought on that just because this is what happened with me for making the videos and stuff specifically. It was COVID. It was when I got, because everybody got it pretty much, I would imagine. I know I did. And I was down for a few weeks. I've told this story on here, and that was where I got introduced really to food content. I'd never really seen any of it until then because I didn't eat for like 3 weeks, but I still had an appetite mentally. I just didn't physically have one in my stomach. So I watched a lot of food content. I found Mark Wiens at that time. And I bet a lot of people did that. There might be a relation to why people were locked down, watching, consuming more content than they ever had. They weren't going to the office, and that might be why. And I think too, another thing is, and that's definitely, I think, a contributing factor, but a lot of things swing like a pendulum. You know, it goes way over here and then it goes way over here. And for people that, you know, like myself, I've been in Florence almost 40 years now. I had the 5 years in Colombia that I mentioned, but I mean, I was born here and we were still coming back like every other weekend. Um, there was a point in time where we didn't have the chain restaurants. We actually didn't have them. So whenever like Olive Garden came, when particularly Olive Garden was a big one, um, a few of those places over there on McLeod in particular, there was a lot of excitement because we didn't have that stuff, and those were the commercials you were seeing on TV all the time. It wasn't the mom and pops. You were seeing these, and you're like, man, they have that over there, and we don't. And when they started to come, there was so much excitement. So I think that built kind of an identity because of that for a while. But I think that now it's swinging the other way because of content. Certainly, hopefully, some of the stuff we do could contribute to some degree to that, just to expose people to, hey, there's all kind of stuff out here, you know, and some of it's really good. So you go out and try it out. And when I think about, you mentioned Victor's is a great example because we got to get out of the house. We don't get to get out a lot. We got to get out before Christmas, like the week before, and my wife and I went and had dinner. And I had been waiting for however long it'd been, months, since I saw the first images of the dry ager to get that dry aged steak. And to my knowledge, there's nowhere else you can. I mean, old timey meat markets will offer dry aged meat at times, but I'm saying in a restaurant, have somebody else cook it for. I don't think there's anywhere else you can get a dry aged steak in Florence right now, and it was
No,
really good,
no,
really good.
it's not. And that was kind of the whole thought process when we were going to redesign Victor's. We wanted to solidify ourselves as a chop house first, you know, especially at dinner. Now I know we're open for breakfast and lunch too over there, but you know, it's mostly what we do is dinner. And but you know, we are happy to, from people. We would love for more people to come for lunch, and if they want to get up and come for breakfast too, that's good. But a lot of what we do for the breakfast is because of the hotel.
Yeah.
So, but the whole idea was that Tim, the owner of Victor's, is dedicated to trying to do things and move Florence and say, you know what, Florence can do anything the big cities can do.
I
Right?
like it.
That's what he really wants to nail down and drive out there and show people that just because you want to, you know, you go to Charleston or, you know, Greenville or Charlotte or Atlanta, whatever, you know, we want to be able to get that stuff here too. And I think that goes back to kind of what you were talking about is that, you know, we don't need to be a fast food town. It it's not it doesn't have to be that way. And we're trying to do those same things. I mean, you know, I'm also involved over at Elliott's and Seminar, and you know, Elliott's is it's a great, you know, casual place to go eat, but he still makes almost everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Same at Notch 8. We make almost everything from scratch. There are some sauces and stuff that we, you know, I think a couple salad dressings that we don't make from scratch. If we ever get busy enough to do that, we would make it from scratch. So at that point, we know we're just trying to push more business. The salads don't seem to be selling quite as much as the burgers and barbecue and that kind of stuff, and the chicken. But you know, I mean, the whole idea is that you want to make stuff from scratch. It doesn't matter if it's a $10 meal or a $100 meal. You know, you put the same dedication into it. You know, I always tell those people, it doesn't matter if we're serving hot dogs. It just needs to be the best hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it needs to be something that we've put care and time and effort into and think about how not only does it taste, but how does it eat? Is it easy to eat? Is it, you know, is it those kind of things? Because all that matters.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people that are coming in are actually like, they're feeling that. They're
I
seeing
think
that.
so.
I feel like that when they do come in, they're like, whoa, like they enjoy what they're eating. And I feel like they can tell that it's homemade, I guess, made from scratch type stuff.
That's big, yeah, and that's really probably the biggest separation with the chain places, the corporate places, is you got scratch made food, which a lot of people should appreciate. And so I know that we're here to talk about Notch 8. So what was the influence on that? What was kind of the history story on that restaurant starting?
So it started What?
I'm just laughing because it was your mind. That was why it started, because he comes up with these crazy things in his head and then somehow he brings them to life.
Um, uh, it actually came from Victor's. So when I was working at Victor's, this was actually before COVID, and we could not, as much as I was trying to break into the segment of the population that enjoys casual food, good kind of Southern style cooking, or just and budget conscious things that you would do for catering purposes. And that's where it kind of came from. It was built to be a casual catering company that would work side by side with Victor's. So until the last year, it was run out of the back of Victor's. It didn't have its own brick and mortar um, spot. Um, but I could not get anybody to call Victor's for fried chicken, or they would not call Victor's if they had a company picnic, or a, they had a meeting in the boardroom and they needed box lunches, or, none of that was going to happen because they just saw Victor's as that really nice, fancy place that's expensive. And that's where you go when you have
An anniversary.
an anniversary or special occasion, or those kind of things. And that's how it was. I think that's changing also, but that's how it was then. And so the only thing we could think to do was that let's create this alter ego, basically, of another identity. And so we slowly started selling it as that. Same people that were selling the food at Victor's for caterings were selling that, and Nicole was one of them. And so, we would get those calls in, and if somebody was looking for, fried chicken and mac and cheese and green beans and, stuff like that, or you want box lunches and salads, we can do that. Victor's can do it too, but we were just selling it under the Notch 8 name at that point.
Well, so that kind of segues real nice into what I wanted to ask you, which was we were having a discussion from your previous occupation, and I was like, man, that's a big leap. So what is your story? How did you end up?
So when I moved down here in 2008, I did a little bit of here and there, and then I went and I started working for Carver Elementary School, and I loved it. And then right before COVID hit, my husband works for Southern Crown Partners, and he was speaking with Marie at the time, who was the assistant GM or the GM, and she was saying that she was stuck for bartenders and she needed some bartenders for banquets and stuff. And he was like, well, I mean, my wife bartended from like 18 until we started having kids at like 27. She hasn't done it in a lot of years, but I mean, if you're looking for someone, just, she's great with people, she'll do it. And he's like, do you want to go? And Maria was like, have her come in and talk to me. So I came in and I was like, listen, I said, I have a 3-year-old. I said, I have 2 other kids. Like, I mean, if you want me on a part-time basis, I'm your girl. I'm sure I'll pick up on it. I started bartending at 18. I've always worked in a restaurant at some point, serving or bartending. I said, I know I can do it. I just need to know the availability. And she's like, we'll work around that. So then COVID hits. So I'm doing it for a while. COVID hits. And then she had lost 2 bartenders. They decided not to come back. And she was like, I know your availability is that you're at school all day, but would you want to do this maybe 3 nights a week? And I was like, yeah, I would. So I start bartending 3 nights a week. And then um, Jane, who was over the banquets and catering, Jane Murray at the time, was just talking about how Notch 8 was going to become this thing where they were going to move out and they were going to do this. And I was like, hey, I'd worked a lot of banquets with Jane. I was like, are you all going to be looking for someone? And she's like, yeah, but what would you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know if I want to teach anymore. I don't really know if that's like what I want to do anymore. And she was like, are you kidding? And then like it was just kind of like snowballed. Like it was like, okay, well, we need you to start now. Like I was like, well, I got to give a little bit of notice. So like I took that summer, like told them before summer break that I wasn't going to come back. I had this opportunity. So then I went and kind of learned it from the back end. I was always on the front end bartending for the banquet. So Jane and Ashley trained me and I was their assistant and they trained me how, and they really pushed me more on the catering piece of it. And so then I got pushed out. And then when we moved over, I just kind of took catering, and all the banquets and everything stayed there, and then I just went in with the catering and did that and tried to learn how to manage a restaurant, which is sometimes harder than managing 25-year-olds.
Yeah, I want to ask something about that, but I'm gonna use this opportunity just to plug something honestly. But Jane actually, out of like how many ever thousands people it was in that Facebook group, Jane won the first giveaway that we ever did. And
I remember her
I
saying.
remember that. Right. What did
she
do you
did.
remember what she won?
I think it was like $100 gift
Yeah.
card and some merchandise or
Yep.
something like that. And so I'm saying that to plug, we are doing another one. That was when the channel hit 1,000 subscribers, and we are at 3,060 something as of recording this. And when we hit 5,000, we're going to give away $1,000 in gift cards to restaurants in Florence.
That's awesome.
And I actually decided to do two. So on the Facebook page, once the Facebook page, that's my Facebook page, hits 5,000 followers, we're going to do the same thing. So that's $2,000 in gift cards to restaurants across Florence. So it's pretty sweet. So subscribe if you're not. You could win. And that's for somebody in the Facebook group. Both of those will go to somebody in there. So, but Jane did win the first one. What I wanted to ask, though, this is talking to restaurant owners, working in the restaurant. I'm 8 years removed from restaurant work now, almost 9. Now it's 2026, about 9 years removed. But I know from my own little space, but even more so for you guys, it's obviously a lot more relevant. And if we can't talk about this, I'll just cut this out. I don't know if we can talk about this or not. None of this will be heard if we can't. But if we can, I want to ask, what are the challenges? What are the challenges that you see with hiring, with staffing? Because I feel like that might be the biggest challenge. I know there's some cost things, and then there's regulations. I know there's a lot that restaurant owners have to deal with that for sure. But yeah, staffing seems to be a big
Yeah, I
problem.
don't even know if that's where I would go first with the cost of it.
No.
It would definitely be getting people to actually want to work.
Staff, there you go. So what's going on with that, and what do you think is the solution to that?
I don't know.
No.
I've got 2 kids that have watched me work 60 plus hours a
Yeah.
week
Yeah.
Same.
forever. And so I and I think, when they want to make money, they work. But at times when they don't want to make money, and I'm just saying, I love my kids and they work hard sometimes, but sometimes,
Sometimes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're teenagers. They're
Right.
going to be like that.
we have kids
Yeah.
around the same age, and I'd have to say too that we both have 17-year-olds, 16, 17-year-olds, and they work with us at Notch 8 when they want to work and when they need money. Now, my 20-year-old, that's a whole different thing. She works because she has to.
She has to have money.
I think there's just a very entitled generation that
Yeah.
people aren't making them work. Like when I was growing up, like you got a job when you turned 15, 16
Yeah, I
years
did.
old. You had a part-time
McDonald's at
job.
5 points. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, and they're just not really made to do it. Other things come first. Sports come first a lot, different things like that. But I mean, and that's fine if you could do that for your kids, but I think there's something about learning how to just hold down a job as a teenager, go to school, play sports, be with your friends. It's just teaching you in the long run, like just how to manage everything from managing money, managing your time. And I've just kind of always tried to instill that in my kids. But for some reason, I feel like that's lacking right now with,
It is.
and not only that age group, though, like adults who have been working, I feel like are just kind of like, do I really
to
need
go back
that?
to COVID, it felt like some people
Yeah.
left work and then just felt like, gosh, I don't ever want to go back. And
And,
haven't really.
and that is part of it.
Yeah, but I want to know the
and
secret.
and most of them came. Most
I
of
don't
them
think there
came
is one.
out.
It's just accepting it. It's just like, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But
I
most
don't-
people came out of COVID making more money than they
Oh
went.
yeah, absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
they didn't have to work as much.
But COVID was 6 years ago. Like, how are they still living?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but
You know what I
I
mean?
do
Like-
know that the salary and wages has gone up
Yeah.
20-something% since COVID. So,
Yeah.
in general, just hiring somebody right off the street, a job that we used to hire somebody for $10 an hour, or they're automatically making 13 or 15,
15. Yeah.
with no experience,
Right. None.
just hoping that,
Which, like you said, though, is sometimes good.
Look, you get the ones that are. They
Mhm.
you just, if you're willing to listen and come in and have a good attitude, and you're teachable.
Yeah.
Attitude and teachable
I'll pay for that any day.
any day.
And I like what you said earlier about making a slimmer margin. I just contemplated in my mind at times, well, if we ran a restaurant, what would that look like? And I think that philosophy is probably wise because I'd rather make less and be able to stay open and make any money than make more, but everything's going to collapse because I need staff. And when you find people that have that intrinsic motivation and that self-discipline to work, and they are teachable on top of that, then I'm going to pay you because I value you being here, because that's unfortunately few and far between, it seems like.
Well, we joke, the other managers and I have joked in the past that, what they're like, what makes a good employee? I was like, if I don't have to worry about you or the position
Right.
that you have, that is more valuable than anything in the world,
Yeah.
because there is so much else going on
Mhm.
that if I don't have to worry about you and what you're doing, and I know then that you are more valuable in that position than somewhere else, working somewhere else, or someone else working in
Yeah,
another
right.
position.
Because we got kind of different places right here. So if we've got like ownership, head management, well, I would a server and a bartender for a long time. I was even in the dish pit at one point early on, and if I needed to be, and then doing some floor managing. So you got like 3 levels here at the table today. And when I would train servers, that's actually what I would say. I was like, I learned it just in my head. My goal was to show up for a shift, and y'all didn't even know I was there. Like, you don't even know. There's no
Yeah.
mistakes, there's no complaints, there's no issues. Because if that's happening, I'm probably maxing my potential of money making. That means that I'm being efficient and I'm not causing problems and
Yeah.
everything's on time
Yeah.
and accurate. And that was literally my goal. I would tell people like servers when I would train them, I say, your goal is actually, you don't even want them to know you were here. Like, man, I didn't even know that Sammy was here
Yeah.
today.
Just do your job.
Yeah, and get
Yeah.
out.
Do your job, make your money, get out. But
And not to say that in a cold, callous way, but
No.
it's not like that.
no.
Yeah, I was still socialized, but I'm just saying from, like
Right, you
a
still
Right.
socialize. You
Right.
still, and if there's, and there are down times here and there, and well, we would be joking around and things like that. But
But
as
it's
soo-
nice to know.
as soon as as soon as it's time, you snap back into place and you just keep going like you never missed a beat.
Just
Yeah,
have
I
those
mean,
dependable people that you know that no matter what happens, that they're going to use their brain, they're going to use common sense, they're going to just take a little bit of the load off of you until they have to. Like that's what I feel.
well, and that's one of the biggest things for me is I tell people all the time is just make a decision. There is not, there is virtually nothing you can do that is going to be so bad that we have to like shut down the restaurant,
That
or
took me a little bit.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, this is not brain surgery. We do not have people's lives in our hands. This is, you need to make somebody happy, comp the meal, or whatever. I'm just saying is this, just make a decision. Like, I empower them to do whatever they need to do.
And that's hard for people.
It is.
It's very hard for people. Like I can't get across to you how I'm like, yeah, we're always going to say yes. Like
Yeah.
if we're going 99.9% of the time, I'm going to be like, we can do that because we're going to make them happy. We want them to come back. But people are like, but that's not on the menu. I'm like, but we have that in house. Like we can do that. Just always we can. We can, we can, we can. We're the little train. I think I can.
Yeah.
But they don't really want to. That scares them, I think, to make
It does. They
kind
don't
of
want
veer
to,
away.
and that's probably some of it is places they worked before. But
Yeah.
I'm never going to get mad at you for a decision you made if you thought it was in the best interest of the client, the guest, or the business. I never ever. I might say that's not exactly what I would have done, and we'll talk about maybe a different choice next time. But you're never going to be in trouble. I'm never going to be upset or mad.
To be fair to the servers, it is challenging, and
It
and
is.
but when you're in the middle, you're in the tension of the public and the restaurant. in as a whole, like the ownership and the management and all of that, and you're stuck out there and you are having to make decisions, so that can be challenging. I would always just defer to let me go ask if I had to.
Sure.
Right. I think my biggest challenge was when I first started working for Victor's too, as a server slash bartender, was that I'd always worked for like corporate. Like the last bartending job I had was House of Blues at the beach.
It's a whole different
So it
ball
was a
game.
whole different ball game.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the House of Blues way. This is this way. This is that way
What a
forever.
stressful situation it is too, honestly. I can
Yeah.
say that now.
So then
Corporate is
corporate's kind of crazy. And then I go here and I'm like, well, when are people going to tell me exactly what I have to do? Like, oh, okay. Like it literally took me months to just realize how well they did, but yet everybody was so relaxed. And I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't even know it could be like this. That this is so nice to not have all that sitting on you as you're also trying to wait on guests and
It can be.
have a great personality and talk with and interact and still get the job done right. It was just, yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things I loved about
Yeah.
and why I got into this was because how everyone over there made me feel like it's always just been a family. And now the family's just expanded to Notch 8 family. We're just like a big
Mhm.
seminar, Elliot's family, like it's all just one big.
So I was going to say that just to give a shout out to them. This was like earlier last year, but I made a comment to my wife. We were, as a matter of fact, we did a showcase at Elliot's, and it was during that process that I was just kind of observing the vibe, and I was in and out a few different times of the day, night, day, that kind of thing. And I told my wife, I was like, that atmosphere, but you don't normally see that at the corporate places. It's very different. But at a privately owned restaurant, a lot of times you're more likely to see that. And that environment just seems so pleasant. Every time I go in there, the staff, Elliot's mingling, even I went this week and I wanted to mention something to one of the servers that I know. They were all chatting. It was slow. I went at like 3 in the afternoon or something like that. So it was slow. But either way, I told her, I was like, man, like I bet it would be a lot of fun to work there as a server. You probably make a pretty good living, and I'm too old now. I couldn't see me serving tables now, so I hope I don't ever have to go
Yeah.
back on the floor.
Yeah.
but yeah, it does. It just has that vibe and environment to it. So shout out to them.
You could bartend.
I can.
You could bartend over there. Luckily, you're mostly just pouring draft.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
It's the
Definitely.
hours though.
Yeah, man, it is.
Yeah,
I would struggle with that.
I really don't know how I did it for the what 5 years
Sure,
that I
yeah.
did do it, where I would bartend, and that was like the bar would stay open until like 11 or 12 at Victor's,
Yeah,
and
then
then
you had to
I'd
be back at work
back
next
at
morning.
teaching or back at school 7:30 in the morning. I mean, it was just, but it was worth it. I don't know, and part of that is because I loved those people, and it was. I mean, I was so much older than all of them, so much,
Well, I think
but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
They made me feel like this whole different, like I was with kids all day. I went home to kids, and then yeah, you're in your 20s, but it just
You're
made
still
me
an adult though,
Yeah.
pretty much.
yeah, but it made me remember what it was
Yeah.
like in my 20s, and they're all good. They're all
Yeah.
good people, and it was just fun. Yeah, definitely fun.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten. The body has been very resistant
Yes.
to that hot kitchen line work. Occasionally, when I
Yeah.
get thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so do most of the listeners and the viewers know about your connection with Elliot's?
We had Elliot on an early episode,
Right.
and it's kind of unfortunate in the sense that I was still tweaking some things, so my audio on that episode was terrible. Thankfully, his was fine. But yeah, we told the story.
Okay, yeah. I figured. I didn't catch that, but I thought, and I knew he'd been on with you, so
Yeah,
um,
maybe we can bring him back and get cleaner audio on another episode.
yeah, that
but,
would be great.
but yeah,
Oh,
we told it.
did I ever tell you?
No, I was like, what's the story? I feel like
I'm
I need to know
sorry.
the
I'm
story.
sorry. He knew of Elliot and knew that Elliot was looking for a new spot and knew he was from Florence and wondered whether he would consider
Okay.
moving back to Florence. And he originally contacted Elliot
Okay, I didn't know
and
that.
then contacted me, and then we got Tim involved. And
Well,
then,
thank you.
And then
And
it
then,
was like this snowball effect that just happened.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
kind of just fell into place.
okay, that's cool.
You know.
That is accurate. The only thing is, I didn't know he was looking for a new spot. That's the only thing that wasn't. It was a shot in the dark.
Oh, okay. I thought, well, you knew he wasn't
I knew he was from
currently
Florence, and
he wasn't currently at a place though, right? Or
I
you didn't
didn't
know
know.
that?
I knew that he wasn't at Buxton Hall
Bexton Hall.
incidentally because we went up to Buxton Hall, and I kind of found that out at that time. But yeah, I didn't know. It was kind of a shot in the dark. I knew he was from here. What was really going on is what I said earlier. I had taken and still kind of have it, but a lot has changed in the last few years, even for me on that note and things I've seen. And folks like y'all are a big part of the reason for that, but just took offense to this fact of this stigma. Like I said, not to really go back to it and open it back up, but I knew we had this guy who's super talented. He's a James Beard nominee and he's from
Yeah.
Florence and he's not in Florence.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, let's reach out to him and just see, what would he
Yeah.
be open to it? And that was kind of how it started. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's exciting. And when I was up there, I think it was Wednesday, I asked him, I said, how's everything going? It looks like it's going great. So it's good. And then now, to kind of bring it back in, notch 8 being another notch, another layer to this growth in Florence. So what is the inspiration behind? So I know there's like the mural on the side of the building at Notch 8, which I really like that. If you want to shout out whoever painted that, feel free to do so. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. But um I like that, and it's got a whole Florence vibe to it. But the name though, where does all that come from?
So it's funny when you say who painted it
Yeah.
because most people don't know, and I had no idea. But that Evening Shade did that. It is actually a vinyl
Vinyl.
wrap.
Oh, it is.
On
Yeah.
the building. Yeah.
Everyone
Wow.
thinks it's painted. It looks
Yep.
so awesome.
It does.
He came in and talked to me. We had talked to somebody about he'd mentioned that to somebody. I can't remember who, and he was like, "Well, let me take a shot at it." And they've done. He had pictures of like baseball dugouts and things like that they had done in the past that were outdoor items. So, but it is train oriented, and a lot of people maybe that aren't originally from Florence don't know that Florence was originally built on the railroad, the location of the railroad, it being here before I-95 was the major hub that it is of travel. It was trains. That's how it was established. And so it's got a rich train history here. And so we kind of wanted to play on that, especially we were thinking about downtown because we hadn't branched out and we hadn't opened a store yet. Locomotive had just, kind of started downtown there. They took a little bit of a, angle of the trains and that kind of stuff. So that's really where the concept of the name came from. But then I was stuck with, what is the name going to be? And I did a bunch of research on trains and things like that. And I thought I came across Notch 8, which is the highest gear a locomotive can be in. So it's like full throttle, all steam ahead, whatever.
Right.
I mean, all kinds of cheesy stuff popped
Right.
into my head. But
Right.
yeah, that's all. That was the main thing. It was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. It's different, but it's train related.
That is cool. I did.
And
Yeah,
it's a good,
that's very
I
interesting.
love when people ask me what it's
Yeah.
about, and they do. So what's Notch 8? It's just something fun to kind of talk to them about and kind of tie in Florence history and the trains. And I mean, they will come in there and I mean, you're in there. It's a work in progress with the decor and everything in there right now, but they'll take pictures and ask about the photo of the two gentlemen on there, which was really random. One day Cooper found that. Actually, Elliot was at an estate sale, told
Yeah.
Cooper they had a bunch of train stuff there. So Cooper goes over. And so that track that is around up in there and the picture of the two gentlemen, this all came from this estate and they worked for this train. So one day I was there and this young boy and this gentleman come in and they're looking at the picture and the little boy comes over. He's about 15. He goes, "It's my granddad and my great granddad." And I go, "Really?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah." And then the husband goes, "Yep, my wife got about 50 copies of that up in our attic." So I go, he goes, "Yeah, that's her dad." And I was, "Oh, that's crazy." So I took a picture of them and like talked to them about it and everything. And, they worked for the train and that was just really cool. So now people come in and they ask about that. And then I get to share that story that it just kind of brings it all back to kind of that hometown feel again to me, I think, with just kind of
Everyone,
Florence being it.
Every once in a while, you'll get that person that comes in and knows what it is, like
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they
yeah.
work for the trains
Or yeah.
company or
And
something like that. It's just kind of cool.
we had a few professors that came in, and they were just one was just enamored by the whole train thing. Like, he's taken from FMU, and he's taking his camera around. He's taking pictures at all the trains and talking to them about it and stuff. So, I mean, there are train people out there.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Other
Yeah,
than
no.
Sheldon
Train
Cooper,
people.
I didn't know there were people that were.
There will. I mean, originally it was just, I've never been like enamored with trains or anything like that. I loved them when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
it never really went any further than that. But I just felt, pay homage to the history of
Yeah.
Florence is, probably the
Yeah.
right thing to do.
Mhm.
You
No,
know?
it's awesome. It is.
Yeah.
It kind of worked out for us because that was the first installment, of what kind of made us anything on the map. And then it was I-95 and I-20, and it's just a transit. It's the same effect. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool how that's worked out for us. That's a big part of our identity.
Oh, I mean, moving goods and people. I
Yep.
mean, that's what the interstate does, and that's what the railroads did before we had interstate. So,
I like it.
um,
So then I'd like to talk a little bit about the menu. So this is something, at least this is from my vantage point, the way that I see it. And it's kind of weird being that we're in Florence. There's not really a lot of restaurants that you go to that are serving that meat and three kind of food. You had Lizard's Thicket, they shut down, and I can say this, and nobody else. I'm saying this. This is only on me. Sammy said it. I'm not really a big Lizard's Thicket fan, anyways. It was not my favorite. It's okay, but it was not. Maybe I'm a Southern food snob or something. I don't know. It's just like, eh. So sorry to the Lizard's Thicket fans because I know they're out there, and I apologize, but that's how I felt. So, but the flip side of that coin for them was they were one of the few places offering that, other than you got some gas stations, and the people that follow this know there's some gas stations out there, Coit Street, North Cashua. There's some out there that are really hitting. We still have that going, but there's not a lot of options, is what I'm saying. And so I came in and really even to get bone-in fried chicken, other than the fast food places, but there's not a lot of restaurants that are doing it. So that's what I had when I came in, and it was really good, and some cornbread. So there's just not a lot of it. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. Whatever you'd want to mention about the menu, because a lot of people might not even know what is the menu and what was the idea behind it.
well, it originally started as that catering piece. So it was mostly, a corporate picnic. What would they want? Potato salad, fried chicken, mac and cheese, coleslaw. Those kind of things were, and that was just the barbecue, baked chicken, smoked chicken, with all those things, and it was really it kind of developed itself. I mean, we started with those items. We also had other stuff like frogmore stew and
Yeah. Oyster roast.
oyster roast and things like that on there. But the core group of things that were selling, people were actually calling for, were those things. Those things, and some of those were things that work really well for catering, and they travel well hot, and that's what we were doing. And we wanted to keep a part of that component in the restaurant when we moved out on our own. And so we've done that. I'd like to bring some back and do even more. We'll probably run more specials, but we also wanted to add things that you wouldn't necessarily want to sell as catering, because it's just harder to keep that food, like, fried shrimp, fried fish. Those things tend to get soggy really quick. They don't, they're just not as good held hot for a while. So we wanted to be able to add that. And with the bone-in fried chicken was one of the things that did really well for us on the catering side. And then and the barbecue, so we kept that. We added fried chicken, the catfish that we've added. People, I really thought the fried shrimp was gonna be a hit, and people love it. But we sell more fried catfish
Yeah,
than I
than
would ever thought we would
Yeah.
have
that
sold.
sounds good too.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
But you also have, we've got salads. So you got that. Our baked mac and cheese is probably a little different, I think, than any other mac and cheese that you're gonna find in town. Um, you know, it's kind of it progressed as we're already going to sell these things for catering. So, and we know people want them because they've ordered them. Let's start with that and build off of it. And so we wanted to have a really good burger, right? We wanted to have, obviously, the things that we were already doing, we wanted to do well, but then we wanted to add some other things that we felt would be popular. And in the future, we're looking to fill our cooler case with take and bakes, and we're going to hopefully be able to do meals where you order the weekend before, you can come pick up meals that week. Just
Family style meals.
Yeah.
family style meals and things like that, just to
Oh,
make
yeah, that's
life a
good.
little bit
Yeah.
bit easier on the people.
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't many families now where not both parents don't work.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Or even if not, thankfully my wife's been able to stay at home for a while now, and but that's a full-time job in
Yeah,
and
it
of
Yeah.
itself.
is.
So even then, making dinner is
Yeah, it's
not
not
easy.
No.
it's not
And you got to
easy.
clean everything up.
Yeah.
That's it. The cleaning up.
Which,
is the worst
you're
part.
gonna do most of the time. But I mean, hey, if once a month you can go out and get a full meal,
Right when you said it, I was like, man, I'm calculating in my head. I'm like, we
Yeah.
might take advantage of that.
and because we did both for not
Thanksgiving.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
It's stuck in my head because it's coming. For Thanksgiving and Christmas, we did take and bakes, and we did really well. People enjoyed it. We sold a lot more than we anticipated, which was great. And all they had to do was take it. The instructions were on each one of them, and they just popped it in the oven.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
So,
nice.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's something for the future.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about the menu?
I love
She's
the
got a
menu.
little influence on the menu. I mean, I
I'm-
kind of, I did, but I
I'm the
tweaked it.
average Joe. I
Yeah,
told him. I said
AJ.
it has
You're
to.
AJ.
Yeah. If it could pass like the average person eating, like I don't really have the culinary skills or anything like that, but I love food. And but yeah, I love it. I love the menu. We just added some fun salads that I think are fun, but
Yeah,
um
they are.
I thought that the salads would move more just for people like women coming in like on a lunch break with MUSC being right there, but we'll see. But I mean, we have an amazing chef salad and we have a hot to tot salad. That was kind of my
It was yours, but I tweaked it on you.
he tweaked it on me last minute. So in Pittsburgh, I don't know if you've ever done this, but in Pittsburgh, most salads are served with fries on them.
French fries?
French fries. French fries are also served on sandwiches in Pittsburgh
I had
with
no idea.
coleslaw.
Okay. That
But-
sounds good.
So
Yeah.
like if you get a
Does.
grilled chicken or a grilled steak salad, it's more than likely going to have fries on top of it.
I'm not going
I
to
mean,
complain about
you
that.
can't
Nope.
complain. So I was telling, anytime I would make a salad there, I was like, and throw me down just a little bit of fries so I could throw it on top of my salad, and they would all make fun of me. And I was like, y'all don't knock it till you try it. It's good. And so then at the last minute, Cooper's like, okay, but what if we did tater tots? And I was like, okay, we could do tater tots.
I'm just thinking to myself, they look like croutons.
Yeah,
They're
like
fried.
they're fried.
Potato, which everyone
Right.
loves.
Who doesn't like that?
So-
And we did like the little crown ones, not the really
Well, I got
Big
those
Yeah,
right now, but
yeah.
I'm trying to
yeah,
get the
we did
little
like
crown
the little
ones.
crown ones. They're just crispy and it's just delicious. I don't know.
And it is. It was
is.
good.
It was good.
It was very good.
Um,
So
I mean, I don't know if the menu would really even be the menu without Cooper and Chadwick,
yeah, Chad, our chef
our
over
executive
there, is
chef,
just
and he's
had a lot of influence in
Yeah.
it.
he is Jamaican, and he is
Yeah.
got a flavor for food. Like he grew up really with his family owning restaurants, and he never really wanted to be a cook. He never wanted to be in a restaurant, but here he is, and he's really good at what he does, and it's like everything he touches like is just golden. Anything he tries to make, he's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Sometimes it's funny though when we try to give him something that's like native to a different, like an Italian food or a Mexican food, because
Right.
those get a little mushed up in his head.
Yeah, he's
But-
yeah.
But
He's like, you need to help me. Let's work through this
yeah,
together
let's get this
because
one right.
I don't know Italian.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, it's good.
But if you need, what was it? The mango
Mango barbecue.
barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
that he had for the wing cook-off that last year was, he got a third place for
Third
that.
place. I mean,
You know,
it's phenomenal.
It's really, really good.
Like and his barbecue, his brisket. I mean,
it's all good.
It's all
He
good.
does
Baked chicken. I mean, baked chicken. Like he does something special with baked chicken that I don't know. I mean, I can bake chicken, but it doesn't taste like Chad's. You know, I mean, it just doesn't.
We'll land the plane here, but we always do our Florence Foodie's favorite Florence food item segment at the end of each show, and with y'all, I'm gonna do it a little bit different, for obvious reasons. And you may have already answered this, I feel, but maybe not. For the audience, what would you say is your favorite item, or just a particular item you'd really want to highlight to people on the Not Shape menu?
I'd go crispy chicken sandwich all the way. Yeah, absolutely.
They laugh at me.
What's going on with that one?
Cooper took 6 months to make it. I mean, 6 months to come up with.
They really do make fun of me.
How to make.
Order now if you want, because it's going to be a while.
To come up with the breading and to come up with how it was going to taste and what to put on it. I mean, literally.
Because they hate to make it because we hand make the seasoning.
We hand make the seasoning.
Some of them are whole that have to be ground ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think that it so much went into a fried chicken sandwich, but it's worth every bite. It's so good.
So not asking the recipe, but like, how's it dressed? How's it built?
That's on you.
So I like pickles, but most of them have pickles,
right?
And so we have pickles too, but I also like the brine and the taste of banana peppers. So we get that with it. We put lettuce and tomato on it, although originally I wasn't going to do that. A lot of people were asking.
They kept asking for it.
So I was like, okay, no problem. I was kind of going more towards the Chick-fil-A,
right?
Kind of concept where you get, really good chicken, pickles, and a bun.
Yeah.
But they still get that, and then they get the I call it Walterboro white sauce.
Walterboro white sauce.
And it is my grandfather's recipe. And it's like Alabama white sauce.
Yeah.
It's similar, very similar to that. And but it was his recipe. I didn't know him, unfortunately, because he passed before I was born, but the recipe got passed down. And we've had some really good feedback on it.
Yeah. Like people will come in and just be like, so can I just get that white sauce stuff for like my fries? Like, yes, you can.
Yeah. The white sauce,
good.
Man.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. It is very good.
What's your favorite?
See, my favorite, I think, is actually the burger.
I knew you'd go burger.
And I've got, we've done a lot of training with those guys, and I'm continuing to train them. The thing about cooking chicken and burgers is you have to cook it just to the point where it's done. Right? Now, if you wanted to, that's totally different from like a burger that you order medium rare or whatever, those kind of things. But I'm talking about if you're cooking a burger till it, it's done, you need to cook it till it's just done, barely done, so that you're not cooking out all the moisture out of it. Same with chicken. When it hits that done spot, you don't need to be cooking it. People all the time overcook chicken because they're afraid to get sick. I mean, I get it. I understand why. But from a scientific point of view, once it hits 165, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Everything's done, right? Yeah. It's fully cooked. So, but the burger with the bun that we've got, which is a challah bun, and the butter, because I told them you got to coat the entire bun with butter before you grill it. So I think it's just the bun and the crispiness of the bun and the butter taste and the burger itself that is not overcooked and still moist is one of my favorites. And that's what
And then add the pimento cheese to it.
And then our pimento cheese.
It's got pimento cheese on it now.
Well,
we have a pimento cheese burger.
We got several ways that we can make it, but that's our best selling.
So good.
No, you're right. You don't want to overcook a burger. It gets dried out. It's kind of weird. I like my chicken drier. I don't know. I've always been like that. I know that's super weird. Not a burger though, but I actually will intentionally take my chicken wings or something like that. I'll take, like, normally when I order wings, I didn't that day. I didn't even think about it honestly, but normally I'll ask for them like double fried or double whatever. I don't know. I don't know
Well,
why.
but you're trying to get the crispy.
know that's weird.
Hard fry,
You're trying to get the
right?
crispiness.
Well, even the meat itself, I don't know why. I mean, I don't want it so dry that it's like powder.
Right,
but
right,
I
right.
like my
Is it
chicken
like
on the
a
dry side.
consistency, like when
Yeah,
you
it
put it in
is.
your mouth or like touch it?
I don't.
My
I
daughter's
don't
like
know why.
that.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And I'm not. It's not a cooked thing because I eat my steak mid rare. You know, I don't know why I'm like that with particularly chicken. Maybe poultry in general, but particularly chicken. I don't know. Yeah, because not turkey. I don't want turkey dry. I don't know. It's weird.
No, I don't want turkey.
But yeah, so you don't want to dry the burger out. You dry it out, it'll kill it.
I can understand. Like people think I'm weird because of the salmon. Like most people, I like crispy cooked all the way through
Yeah.
salmon.
See, I'll eat salmon
Same.
medium.
Medium
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
way, blackened.
I think it came from when I was when I first started cooking. I would eat the little bits that were stuck to the grill.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, that's how you survive when you're
Yeah, right.
But
You got any
so,
fries left in that?
but everybody's a little bit different, so you try to keep that in mind. But I think main thing is whether you like the chicken, or you like the burgers, or you like the barbecue, or you like the collard greens are really good. The mac and cheese has got really good comments on it. As long as you know that we're trying to start with good ingredients and we're making as much as possible to scratch, from scratch
Yeah.
if we can. We're also people are also limited by staff, time, things like that. But if at all possible, things like grinding all your own spices to go into the mix. If you have the time, maybe not every single one of them because some some may not be available in that form, but they're already ground. But anything that we can do, especially like peppercorns and things like that, we will toast them and grind them to give it that extra bit of flavor. And you don't have any of that like a lot of places put MSG and all kinds of stuff, even in things that people have no idea, like breading, especially.
Yeah.
They have no idea that that's what's in it. So,
All right. Well, look, y'all have successfully made me hungry, and I guess it's close enough to lunchtime. Close enough, early lunch. So we'll go ahead and get out of here. Would y'all like to let everybody know? Obviously, hours from restaurant to restaurant are different. So why don't you tell everybody what the location and the hours are of Notch 8?
We are open Wednesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. We are at 600 Pamplico Highway, which is smack dab in the middle of Mickey Finn's and Batteries Plus. Lula's and Food Lion and Lowe's is all behind us. Can't miss the mural. Look for the mural on the side.
Right there at MUSC.
Yep, right by MUSC.
and that's for the restaurant itself. As for catering, we do that 7 days a week.
Yep.
You can give us a call anytime you want. You will talk to her probably.
To me.
And
Yep.
but we do caterings from 10 people to 500,
Yeah.
something or so. So I think it was one of the bigger ones. So and we're not bound by menu or anything crazy like that. You come in and you want something, you just tell us and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
And it will be good.
All right. Well, that's actually really awesome. I appreciate y'all, everything that you're contributing to the Florence food scene with that, mentality that we've talked about today on this episode. And I appreciate y'all taking the time to stop by and do this.
Absolutely.
No, I thank
Yeah.
you very much.
I will put the contact information, catering, if you need that number. I'll put all that down in the show notes, the description of the video. Again, I appreciate y'all stopping by. And as always, I appreciate y'all's viewership. And God willing, we'll see you on the next one.